Well, here we are on the WellRED podcast. No intro this week unless Cho adds it after the fact because Corey is not with us. Just me and Drew this particular week. It's kind of ironic. Not ironic. I At the beginning on Sunday of this week, I didn't think I was going to be on any of my podcasts this week because of shit I have going on. Um, I ended up randomly getting freed up today, Tuesday. So now I'm doing this one, which is fine. But I also now I had to find someone to cover for Corey on our other one because he's not going to be on it either. And it's like, damn it, I was supposed to be the one not doing shit. Then just the 11th hour, you're just like, hey, I ain't doing shit either. And now I got to do shit again, you know?
Yeah, I hate that. This is the opposite of when your friend cancels plans on you last minute and you're free because you already freed the space.
That's
It's
exactly
reverse
right.
Uno that.
You're exactly right. And that is, John Mulaney aptly described as like heroin for adults, having plans canceled. And so, yeah, this is the opposite.
It's the opposite of heroin for adults. This is work. I mean, I guess literally.
Yeah, I was going to say something else about it, but I can't remember now what it was. Oh, right. Because of that whole situation, you did SKUs this week. You've already done it, but it's not, as we are recording this, it hasn't come out yet. Matt will post it tonight at 5 Pacific. But how was that?
I had a good time. Mark said, well, yeah, you're more cynical than me. And I
Mhm.
swear it put a chill to my
Yeah.
bones.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if that's true.
Maybe he meant in a specific way about what we were talking about, but it really kind of made me shudder like, oh no.
Yeah,
But we had
Mark.
a good time shitting on the oligarchs.
Mark knows this, but like lately, people that watch SKUs that come to my shows on the road that are in the meet and greet line afterwards, so many of them over the past few months have been like, you know, hey, is Mark okay? Is Mark doing all right? I'm kind of getting worried about Mark. He seems even more, bitter and marky, I guess. And I
Well,
tell
he's
him that, and
probably
he
just
just
had
like
to
laughs
read
it
the
off.
news.
But no, I know that's exactly what it is. I think, but like, yeah, it's funny. I don't know what Mark snapping would look like. I mean, I don't want to see it, but
I
you
threw
know,
some suggestions his way. I really think you're going to be like not surprised at all as how
uh-huh.
the episode went.
Yeah.
Because we talked about, and I want to be clear on here, and I was clear on there. No one was saying that Elon should be shot, but
Mm.
we were talking about that mess he's got going on down in Texas with that town he's trying to like be the
Yeah.
mayor of,
Take over or something. Yeah.
and I was like, he's gonna get shot,
Hmm.
And I was trying to get Mark to gamble with me.
Yeah. Uh, Speaking of gambling, how many people that get down on their luck, you think in the near future, white people, are going to be like, well, if nothing else, I can go down to the nearest public park and call a 5-year-old the N word, and maybe that will get us out of this mess. That'd be kind of a funny parody movie of like a Pursuit of Happiness or Cinderella Man type situation. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
where a parent is like at the very end of their rope, like struggling mightily to keep it together, and they take one last swing, and it works out in the end doing that. But it's
And
calling
that
a
swing is
calling a baby
carrying a
the N
moose to the
word.
park
Yeah. So
on a swing.
yeah, did you guys talk about that?
Well, yeah, a little. I connected her to I don't even remember what we were discussing. I mean, it. I think I said this on there, but I keep thinking about her accountant, and I'm not the first person to like bring that question up, but like, oh, that's what it was. Mark was talking about these cats filing with the SEC that they bought $20 million worth of Trump memes in an attempt openly to bribe the president, to win influence with the president. And I was just like, it's a new day for accountants. Like the era we are living in has me feeling sorry for some evil people. That was the theme of that episode yesterday for me. It was like, yeah, I feel bad for the CIA. Trump's giving their games away. He's
Hmm.
shutting down USA. He's like, what's all this millions of dollars for condoms? And I'm like, that is how they do coups. And they're over there like, this dude thinks we didn't think of this. Like he really thinks he invented this shit. So we talked about her in that light. Like there's accountants out there who aren't good people, but I do feel bad for them because the new level of evil, they're like, guys, I'm all about doing evil and writing it off, but we got to be slightly less blatant.
Right. So I'm sure most of y'all listening do know, but if you don't even know what we're talking about, a lady in Minnesota called a 5-year-old the N-word, 5-year-old black kid the N-word, specifically a Somali child, I reckon, because this was in Minnesota where there's a lot of Somali immigrants. A full-grown Somali man saw this, pulled out his phone, started recording her, and was like, "Did you just call that kid the N-word?" And she was like, "Yeah, he is a," and she's not saying the N-word, she's literally saying the N-word. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's because he is one. So are you. And then she just starts repeating it over and over and over as she walks away. And this, the guy posted that video. It started going viral. So then she's like, "Of course, I'm being persecuted by the woke mob." And so she posted a GoFundMe, which raised what, between $500,000 and $1 million or something.
Last we checked, yep.
And so it's funny. I wanted to try to make. I'm sure people have already made bits like this about how like there's. So, Morgan Wallen famously said the N-word and then rocketed to the top of the country charts. I forget his name, but I've got it in my notes somewhere. There was a NASCAR driver who got caught saying the N-word on live stream. And the next year he won his first the cup. What's the cup called now in NASCAR?
Oh, I don't know. Is it not the Winston Cup anymore?
Oh, buddy, it ain't been the Winston Cup for years. It became the Sprint Cup, but I think now it's like the fucking Nextel Cup or something, or like that might be the lower one. Like Busch and Winston, which was back where they outlawed the hits. That's when things still hit.
White's Only Cup.
Yeah, but let's see. I think I guess it's just called the Cup Series, which is boring. The NASCAR, it's just the NASCAR Cup, I guess. Yeah,
that sucks because it's not. He didn't win. He won on his own.
I know that one kind of messes things up because it's like he earned it, but it is still it's funny to point it out though that like apparently it's very lucrative.
Maybe God's racist.
Yeah,
unless all of the other white drivers were like he's really just competing against Bubba. All the other white drivers are like, we gotta let this dude win.
Right, that would be funny. Okay, so all right. It was the Winston Cup when we were kids. Holy shit, I said I think it's the Nextel Cup now. It actually became the Nextel Cup after the Winston Cup, and that happened in 2004. And then in 2008, it became the Sprint Cup, which it was until 2016. And I don't remember this at all, but from 2017 to 2019, it was the Monster Energy Cup. And which that's almost as good as Winston, I would argue.
Yeah, whose Papo didn't have a Monster Energy Cup lying around? Has it ever been the Spit Cup?
The Spit Cup, that would be good. That they ought to give that a shot. But it is now just called the NASCAR Cup because, and you might think it's like, oh, because they've look at them rejecting corporate whoredom or whatever, but it's actually that. And I don't know how they got everybody to agree to this. Instead of just having one sponsor that is named after, they now have 3 corporate sponsors all at the same time. But they must all pay less because it's just called the NASCAR Cup. So none of them get naming rights. But Busch, Coca-Cola, and Xfinity are the current primary corporate sponsors.
Hey, man, that's the perfect Cup weekend right there. You talking about Busch beer?
Yeah, well, the like minor league of the Winston Cup was always the Busch Cup, which Winston and
By the way, is that where Busch League came from?
Beer and cigarettes, and that's fucking great. I don't know, maybe. No, surely not. Busch League's probably older than that, I would think.
You looking it up?
Yes, I am. But anyway, it's just funny that it became lucrative for a while to say I say for a while. It's actively ongoing to say the N-word in public, and I was wondering like. If someone you think if someone in a position similar to me got caught saying the N-word and then like attempted a pivot from that, it would be like even more lucrative or it would fail, just hypothetically.
I think you'd have to do it differently.
Not planning anything.
I think you'd have to do it differently. I think you'd have to be like, I've carried water for these people for years.
Yeah.
Both blacks and wokes. And look how easily they throw me away and blah, blah, blah. That'd be like the Kilstein move. I don't know if you are familiar with Jamie Kilstein's arc.
Is he's a Christian now?
I don't know if he's a Christian. I know he's been like going on Legions of Skanks and trying to like own up to it. Like, yeah, man, like I was pretending to be a guy I wasn't. Like, yeah, no shit. Cause I got caught up in the fame and it felt good. And basically was like feeding into this narrative that like I didn't do anything wrong other than when I was pretending to be a good guy. That was my sin.
So I'm sure a lot of people listening don't know who he is. He's a comedian, Jamie Kilstein, who like had a popular lefty podcast.
He made you look like a fucking Nazi.
Right? Yeah, he was like,
it was like
very hardcore.
Inner women, he says, with a logo of his face behind him. I mean, he was insufferable.
Yes, like a lefty panderer extraordinaire, who also was like was a stand-up comedian, and he was like popular for a little bit there, and then he got Me Too'd, right? That was during the Me Too thing. He was part of that. He got
heavy dose of the Me Too, not like a drunken bad interaction, like a total like, you work for me. Don't you want to be famous? If you fuck this up for me, I'll ruin you.
And then that pretty much ruined him. Like he didn't pivot at that point, and his lefty audience was like, this guy's a fraud, so fuck him. And he kind of bottomed out. And I guess I thought I had heard he's like a Christian now, but I don't even remember I don't even remember where I heard that. But now you're saying that he's like, so he's out there trying to,
apologize,
flip over to the other side and try to give that a shot.
He's trying to apologize for being the first guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's basically like, I realized now that I was like real self-righteous, and the only reason I did that is it was working and it just felt good and blah, blah, blah. But even to their credit, like I saw that on like Legions of Skanks and maybe one other podcast. To their credit, that crowd was like, fuck this guy. Now, I think it was less, this dude's a rapist, fuck this guy, and more, this dude don't have any backbone.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yes, you're probably correct.
The great prophet Norm Macdonald once said in the opposite direction, they say hypocrisy is the worst part of what Cosby did, but I think it was the rape.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that joke is so funny is because the reverse is, I think, true for most people if they don't think deeply about it. In terms of their initial reaction, Jamie Kilstein was not accepted into any group as he tried to redo his image because people were like, this guy's a hypocrite, not because people were like, this dude is a sexual assaulter.
Right. I couldn't remember if it was so it was sexual assault. I couldn't remember if it was that versus like abuse, meaning like he mistreated people horribly all the time.
I can't remember either. I was just trying to make that point about like hypocrisy versus the crime. I think that I think it was like both, but the sexual assault, I feel like it was like, sorry, I got drunk and tried to fondle you last night, but if you tell anyone, I'll ruin you. But I could be wrong.
Yeah. I did look it up. Bush League. I assumed or had known somewhere in my subconscious that it was baseball, where it comes from. The minor leagues, they got a ton of minor league teams. The lowest level single A minor league teams are often in pretty bumfucky places. And apparently 100 damn years ago, like the sticks or the boonies, they called that the bush.
Like they do in Australia.
Right. But like to me, I knew other places they had the bush, but I always thought that meant like, fucking jungles or out like harsh terrain, not like Salina.
not West Virginia.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But yeah, it just meant like the boonies at the turn of the 20th century. The bush was a word for very rural areas, and there were lower level minor league teams in some of those towns and those areas, and they became known as the Bush League or the Bush.
Bush should sponsor Bush leagues.
Yeah, I mean they probably do. I bet.
But I mean they should they should not shy away from that. And they should all be like the Savannah Bananas or whatever they're called, where they do all the weird shit. You know what I'm talking about? That minor league team that
so
has their pitchers in unison dancing.
Yes. Well, if you thought, the Bush leagues, these are like 1A minor league teams. So these guys like they're trying to make it to the show eventually. They're not going to do
Savannah Bananas ain't that.
They're not going to do cartwheels on the mound and stuff. They're trying to
But I thought the
achieve
Savannah
their
Bananas
dream.
played people who are trying to make it to the show.
I think that they do sometimes. I don't know if they play minor league teams. I think
God, that must make them fucking so mad.
I think that maybe they play like colleges or like that type of like and not big one, not like South Carolina, like fucking what Carson Newman or somewhere. That's definitely a college.
Maybe
Lenore Ryan is the one I was thinking of. But
yeah.
One of those I think is a women's school. I don't know if either of them have a baseball team.
Not. I almost went there because they tried to recruit me, and you're not allowed to even hold hands on campus. And even for your little FCA president boy here, I was like, nah. But for some context for some people, the Savannah Bananas, I think that's what they're called, are some sort of professional or semi-professional baseball team that does a lot of hijinks during the game. The only comp I can think of is the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah, they're the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball, yes. But
they don't play other real teams, or they do? I guess that'd be silly. That'd be like the Harlem Globetrotters being in the G League.
Well, but the Harlem Globetrotters used to, and I think eventually they stopped, and apparently the Bananas are going to stop. Or I just read starting next year in 2026, the Bananas will have a whole league called the Banana Ball Championship League, and there's going to be 6 teams that all play that goofy type of baseball, and they're all going to tour around and have their own little league. But it's all so apparently they got, and since 2023 they have entirely been playing exhibition games against their partner touring teams. There were 3. There's going to be 6 in the future, but the existing 3 are the Party Animals, the Firefighters, and the Texas Tailgaters.
Where are they located? Because
Savannah, Georgia.
All of them.
Oh, that, yeah, I guess that I don't know.
I want to join one of these.
Yeah, I think they do all reside in Savannah, Georgia.
I'm going to join that team. One of them. I don't want to be on the Bananas. That's too much pressure. I want to be like the Firefighters.
Well, I was going to say, I didn't know I had seen their clips on TikTok and stuff, and I knew that they existed, but I thought they were like a local attraction in Savannah, that like one of the things that you go to in Pigeon Forge or something. And then I went to, but it's TikTok fucking, it is wild how, I mean, obviously I lived it myself, but like for an entire business, like going viral on the internet or on TikTok or whatever, it's insane the effect it can have. Because I was in Oklahoma City at the same time the Bananas were there for like a 3-day stretch. And dude, all of downtown OKC was fucking yellow. Like their shit was everywhere. Like, I mean, they did like 3 or 4 games there over the course of the weekend, sold out every one of them in the Oklahoma City minor league stadium, which I think the Oklahoma City minor league, I think that's like a AAA team. So it's not tiny. And they sold out every one of them, 3 or 4. And there's just like kids running around in Bananas gear all over the place. I mean, they're fucking huge. And I did not realize that. And the other one, I went to a Buc-ee's recently. Right.
Yeah.
And like, I did not know, because we went back in the day we first started touring. We went to a couple Buc-ee's, and they were just like a Love's or something. They were just like a big.
Oh, that doesn't sound right to me.
We definitely went to Buc-ee's. I know I've been
smaller. The first one I remember
nothing like. I mean, dude, they were wild, but not like, dude. I went to this Buc-ee's like 3 weeks ago, and it was like fucking the Disneyland of convenience stores or whatever.
My dad says it's like the beach without the water, and that's because my dad's only ever been to like strip mall beaches.
Well, it was
what he was saying is this is Myrtle Beach with no ocean.
It just definitely was not like that when we went before.
Yeah,
and then
it's evil.
They went viral, and now it's like it's whatever, a cultural
but it's all
phenomenon.
Fat Dumb hits in there, and I'm not saying they don't scroll, but it's not like they did go viral, and there is a whole thing like their billboards are trying to like pull in Gen Z, and Gen Z is
they got that like cringy, Gen Z slang on all their billboards and stuff. That's TikTok shit.
There's there too. Like it's like chock full of them.
Right. Yeah, but I still think, I mean, boomers if it, a lot of the other platforms, things just move around. You know what I mean? If something like goes viral on TikTok, somebody on Facebook will then steal it and put it on Facebook, and it'll
Right.
pop
That's a
off
good
there
point.
too.
Do you know about the Japanese UT Vol bar?
What? No.
I want to say in Osaka, but I'm somewhere, maybe Tokyo. Who fucking knows? I mean, a lot of people do. This guy who went to UT, I think only for a year, opened up a University of Tennessee themed bar. He's got a few other SEC school swag in there, but he's a
What?
ball at heart. And
Is this a white American guy or black? Is this an American guy or
this is a Japanese guy?
Okay. Who came to America and went to UT for 1 year?
I think he may have went for all 4, but I think he just went to it for a year, and he went back there and opened up a UT themed bar, and he had it for a while, and eventually something clicked and caught on, and now he posted the other day, if you're coming with a big group, you've got to let me know in advance so I can, quote, get some friends to help me out. It's a small, very small bar, and he runs it by himself.
Okay, well, that makes more sense.
And he's being overwhelmed.
Yeah, I was about to say, I just can't imagine that working. I
don't think it did for a while.
Right, because UT themed, meaning like they watch the football games and stuff over there, and I mean basketball games too, and whatever. But like, I mean, I remember one of the funnest sports watching experiences I've ever had, even though we fucking, of course, blew it at the end and lost, was I went to a UT bar in Manhattan when we were there. I think it's when we were there doing our Sirius show. It was the same day that we went to that Sturgill concert, and I cried the whole time and got hammered, and me and Corey fed each other fucking gravy chicken crumbs with our fingers.
You did.
In the cab with Craig. Yeah, that day. Earlier that day, we played Texas A&M, and I went to a UT bar in Manhattan that I just Googled and found, and it was fucking awesome because it's just, covered with orange, and everybody in there's. And they have shit like that in not every city, but like, in New York, but I love having that kind of thing, but I would not have thought fucking Osaka or Tokyo or anywhere, Kyoto.
I mean, I think that feeling you have is part of what made it go viral. And then I guess there's just enough tourists there who, if not they're UT fans, are like SEC fans. Because like I said, he's got one Vanderbilt flag. I mean, I'll send you his profile later. But the reason I brought it up is he is at times now overwhelmed because of something that went viral.
Yeah, it'd be like that.
Do be like that. I drink some orange sake. You like sake?
I haven't had sake in a long time, but I remember last time I had sake was when I was still drinking like a lot. So of course it hit for me. And I think I had it. You don't have to, but it's often served warm, right?
Yeah, I prefer it chilled.
Yeah, I'm a cold drink guy, but I do think I tried warm sake.
There's a friend of mine.
It's wine, right? Rice wine is what sake is.
Yeah, well, a lot of times it's real strong wine. What's wine's percentage usually?
I don't know. Is it like 20 or something? I don't know what it is.
I don't know what wine's is.
I mean, hard liquor is like 40, right? And beers are 5 to 10. So I'm just assuming wine is like 20.
I thought wine was like 12 and sake was like 20 to 25. But regardless, we're in the right area of describing it.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. Wine is between 11 and 14. Damn, I thought it was.
And I think sake
it was heavier than that. I didn't realize that like strong beer is not that much less than wine. Now it is a little stronger, but it says sake typically has alcohol content ranging from 13 to 17%.
Nice.
Stronger than most wines, less potent than spirits.
But a friend of mine is just constantly eating sushi and having sake, and I've been getting into it with him some when I see him. But it reminded me of something I wish Corey was here, but I've been wanting to tell you guys both about this. Obviously, accent comedy is not du jour. It's not in right now.
What do you mean?
Well, it's like doing an accent as the bit. It faded because people are like, well, that's racist. And you go, well, why is it racist? And you go, because the whole point of that bit was, don't these people talk dumb?
Okay, but you don't mean, because I do a lot of voices, but I don't do, I don't do big chunks of, any given act I'm doing, there's going to be at least 2 or 3 voices in it, but they're almost exclusively white people voices.
I feel like you're giving me
that.
pushback, and
That's
it makes
okay.
me feel like I expressed something incorrectly. Do you think people still do Spanish or Chinese voices?
No, that you
stand up
just
much?
you said accent comedy, and I was just saying you mean specifically like, yeah, do it imitating another race.
Imitating another accent, and then that's why it's funny, right?
But an accent of someone who's a different race, like you can do fucking French or Scottish or whatever.
You can, but I feel like it has to be part of a joke. I mean, part of the reason the accent comedy, as I'm defining it, faded is because oftentimes there was no bit. It was
you just say a funny voice.
And that's why it was racist, because it was like, oh man, the whole joke here is just that Japanese people talk funny.
I've got a whole thing about being in Scotland right now, and I did the Scottish brogue throughout a big chunk of it, and it's like,
right.
And there's a British guy who pops up, so I do a British accent too, and it's
okay. Well, I don't know what I need to say to make you understand that this is not about you or your bit that I've never heard before.
I know it's not about me, but I'm just saying you're making me think like it just you seem to make a blanket statement. Accents are out. You can't do accents no more.
And I'm saying that what is out is the whole bit is. I mean, I think this is like universally accepted. Like, I mean, I go to comedy shows. This is true. Almost no one's doing Chinese accent because of the backlash of people doing Chinese accent as the whole bit.
Right. Yes.
The point I'm making, though, is I accept that. That's fine. I have no argument against that generally, and I have no desire to do Japanese accent. But we got Rozzy a book that has the picture and the word and then the word in Japanese, and he's doing it in Japanese accent.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I don't think the only reason it's funny is the Japanese people talk funny, but watching a little white baby who can barely talk at all go, Baru! As he runs through the kitchen, Baru! Baru! Is so
Baru is on fire. But yeah.
It means ball.
But the right, well, that's what I was about to say is like, it's an uncomfortable reality that like a lot of they words and stuff like sound that way. You understand what I'm saying? Like just like a baby just reading Japanese words, it's going to sound like he's doing the like racist Japanese accent because of the way that their words be.
That's what I'm saying too, is like, I don't think I taught him that accent, Trey.
Right.
I think that like he and his mom were reading the book and she's like, ball. And by the way, ball has 9 syllables for my Appalachian ass son. It's one of his favorite words. It's the second or third word he ever said. And he'll go, bow. Yeah. Bow. And then she goes, baru. And he'll go, baru. Yeah. And it's so Japanese. It's so fucking unbelievably Japanese.
But that's the other kind of question, though, isn't it? Is where it's like when it comes to doing, and this is different because I'm talking about speaking another language. But it's like to be fluent, if you're trying to, and again, this is not the same as doing an accent, but if you're trying to speak another language, you're supposed to attempt the proper accent for it, like, right? Or else you're butchering it. Like to be fluent in like Spanish, you gotta kind of try to imitate the way that like a Spanish person says Spanish, but it's not how I would say it with my own accent. So it's
you gotta either do it all the way Spanish or all the way yourself. I think like you got to be like como ustas ustedes.
See, like that don't hit for nobody is what I'm saying.
No, fuck you. That's hilarious.
Well, yeah, no, yes, it's funny, but I mean, it's like.
But if you try to go,
it's not a good attempt.
But if you try to go Spanish, no, I know it's not a good attempt, but I don't think it offends anyone. I think if you try to go Spanish and you don't quite get it, if you don't quite get it, they'll be forgiving. But if you're just not getting it, I think that's also offensive. Do you agree with that?
I don't know. I think if they think you're just making an honest attempt at doing it because you're just asking them a question and they speak Spanish or something, I don't think it's going to piss anybody off. I don't think.
Piss anyone off. It just looks like, I just feel like you got to come close to nailing it if you're going to try to do the accent.
Well, so it's like, you just walk into like a cantina in fucking Cozumel or something and you're going to ask where the bathroom is, which is Baños, right? So it's like, what do you go? Baños, or do you go baños? You know what I
I
mean?
go, Banyo.
Okay, so you do the first thing.
I think so, yeah. Because I don't know. If I knew the whole sentence, I'd do it. How do you say where is the
¿Dónde
bathroom?
están los
Okay, I
baños?
did. That is
¿Dónde
what I
están
thought, by the
dónde
way.
están los baños? But you could just say baños, because you could also just say bathroom. Like if you didn't speak English, and
Yeah.
somebody, So
I,
normally that's what I do. I'm literally just thinking of the last time I was in Mexico and
I
I
think
did
I
that.
don't do it because it feels like a put on because I don't speak Spanish. So it almost feels like I don't want anyone to think I'm fluent because I'm not. And then that'll make me
Sure,
feel
I
silly.
totally get that, because I know that also a lot of times people will be like,
I think I say El Baño.
people in most of people in most of those places are bilingual, and I think for a lot of them it's like just don't. Let's what I mean? Like I can speak English. Let's just speak English.
Yeah, honestly,
Just
I
don't
think I
do that.
go bathroom, but if they go like this, then I go El Baño, like almost like I'm sorry that I exist.
Yeah. Well, you know what should be sorry that it exists? These predatory subscription services that don't remind you that you're paying them money every damn month. It's it's a curse of the modern era. You find some cutesy little app that lets you put your buddies' faces on the popular meme formats, and you're like, well, I can't not have that. So you sign up for it, and then 3 years later, you realize you've paid them $450 over the intervening 36 months because you forgot that you were subscribed to it. And that ain't cool. Well, that's where our sponsor this week, Rocket Money, comes in, because with prices going up on just about everything lately, it's not just a good idea to be smart with your money. You got to. That's the world we all live in. But managing those subscriptions and tracking your spending and cutting costs, all that can be hard. It can feel overwhelming. Well, lucky for you, Rocket Money takes all the guesswork out of it so you can easily make smart financial decisions. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. So you can see all of your subscriptions in one place. You know exactly where your money is going, and if you don't want one of them anymore, Rocket Money can help you cancel it. They can try to negotiate lower bills for you. They automatically scan your bills to find opportunities to save. Then you can ask them to negotiate on your behalf, and they'll deal with customer service so you don't have to. That is a top-notch feature as far as I'm concerned. I don't ever want to do. I've been putting off calling a doctor and making an appointment for 4 days, and it's like, that's important. So that's pretty sweet of Rocket Money. They have over 5 million users, and they've saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when they use all of the app's premium features. So cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Download the Rocket Money app and enter the show name WellRED Podcast in the survey so they know that we sent you. That's right. You download the Rocket Money app, and in the survey part, you just put in WellRED, WellRED Podcast, so they know we sent you. Don't wait. Download the Rocket Money app today. Tell them you heard about it from this here show, the WellRED Podcast. We thank them for sponsoring this week's episode. Drew, what do you got?
We'd also like to thank Ridge Wallets for sponsoring us this week. If you guys have been listening to the WellRED podcast for years, and I know you have, you know that I've lost my wallet while we were on the road, no less than, I am not exaggerating, 7 times. For those of you keeping up also with how long WellRED toured, it was about 7 years, not counting the pandemic. So that's 1 a year. Well, guess what? I've got a new wallet. We're sponsored by Ridge. They sent us this slick, awesome metal wallet. I think they're made out of, it says right here, either aluminum, titanium, or carbon fiber. Mine's made out of aluminum. It's yellow. That's the color I picked. They've got over 50 colors. I love it. But also with the AirTag attachment, I know where it is all the time. Is it with me right now? No, but I can get on my phone and find out where it's at, which is back in my other house, not where this office is. All their products have a lifetime warranty. It's literally the last wallet you'll ever have to buy. And they also have RFID blocking technology that keeps you safe from digital pickpockets. My buddy, Brian, you guys know him. You've seen him on the podcast before. He dealt with this last week. If he'd had a Ridge, maybe I'm going to get him one. He wouldn't have had to deal with that. He had a digital pickpocket last week. I'm not making that up. They have over 100,000 5-star reviews. This is a tough wallet. It comes with a tool. It comes with a little tool. How many wallets, come with a tool? They'll hold up to 12 cards plus cash, but they're still sleek. It's awesome. It's not just about wallets with Ridge, though. They have everyday essentials like key cases, suitcases, rings, but all with the same sleek, durable design. No matter what you pick, Ridge has free shipping and a 99-day, that's a lot, 99-day risk-free trial and a lifetime warranty on all products. Highly recommend it. Genuinely love this product. Love this wallet. So get yours today. Upgrade your wallet. You'll get 10% off at Ridge with the code WellRED. That's WELLRED. So go to https www.ridge.com/wellread, and you will be able to get that 10% off and let them know that we sent you. Appreciate it. We'll put that hyperlink in the URL down in the description of the pod. You can click on it. And we thank y'all for listening. Thank them for sponsoring us.
I wanted to ask you something. We talked before on an episode weeks, months, like years maybe ago, about how you don't like butt rock, which is fine. But
yeah, but I've been getting into it. Or more, I've been working out with Brian.
Well, it's because you're a dad now and you're 40, so it's time. But back in the day, though, what about butt rock's little sister, the 2000s era pop punk, where like Fall Out Boy, Panic at the Disco, Good Charlotte, fucking All American Rejects. That was them was my dudes. One of them, I liked them a lot. There was a bunch more.
As far as I know,
Simple Plan, Yellow
it goes
Card.
one way or the other with those.
Yeah,
I fucking hate Good Charlotte.
yeah.
I love Panic at the Disco.
Okay.
I mean, I think with pop, anything for me, like I think Chappell Roan is unbelievable. Unbelievable. I wouldn't piss on Taylor Swift if she was on fire. Now, I can't tell you the difference other than one hits for me and one don't. You know what I mean? So with pop punk, I don't know why I like Panic at the Disco so much, and I cannot stand some of those other bands that you named. Did you say Take It Back Sunday? I love them. Did you say them?
I didn't, but they're
they
good.
Fucking rule.
But what about, where you at on All American Rejects? You like them?
What's their hits?
Dirty Little Secret.
Yes.
My favorite is Move Along by them.
I don't know that one by name, but Dirty Little Secret. I'll make you my dirty little secret. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. Well, I have found that pop. So having a Peloton has made me listen to. Well, I was gonna say listen to a lot of music I never otherwise would, but that's not true with pop. But when all this shit was out and I was a teenager and 20 or whatever, I mean, I listened to this shit. But like I've revisited some of it because of the Peloton, because for some reason these types of things are just real good bike riding songs. My favorite stuff is like pop punk songs or like Bon Jovi and that type of shit. Bon Jovi, every Bon Jovi song goes hard on a
yacht rock
stationary bike. There's a yacht rock ride that I tried and I didn't love it for some reason. I didn't think they curated it well. They don't do a lot of yacht rock, but my favorite, every ride has a genre, and my favorites to do are either 2000s rock, that's butt rock, pop punk, or like 80s or 90s rock after that, or just classic rock or something.
No hip hop on the bike rides.
Huh? Rap don't do it. And I know that a lot of people would disagree strongly. Like if Katie rode the bike, which she doesn't, even though she's the one that bought it, I'm sure she would opt mostly for hip hop rides, but I don't know I don't know how to explain it. It just don't, for me, it just don't hit right. There's like a rhythm to it. There's also like certain songs are better for certain types of, you crank the resistance up and do like a climb, like you're climbing through the mud, or you turn it down and you go real fast on a sprint. So you do sprints, you do climbs, and some songs, and of course, it's just like the beat or the rhythm, right? But like Move Along.
Also how it makes you feel, I think, right? Like I would not want to ride a bike to metal, but I'll work out to metal.
Metal is almost all I lift weights to, but like Move Along. That's
not a beat thing. That's a mood thing.
Absolutely. But on the bike, it is a beat thing. The chorus of Move Along by All American Rejects is perfect for sprinting. And
give me a beat. Give me a bit of it. Come on.
When all you gotta keep is strong, move along like I
Yeah,
know
I like
you
that song.
do. Even when the hope is gone, move along
Move
just to make
along.
it through. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Dig them.
And then
Can you
fucking
go back and name some of the bands? Because there's one more I hated other than the one I called out. I hated Good Charlotte. There was one more I couldn't fucking stand.
Yellow Card.
No, they were fine.
Yeah. They're let's see.
You already mentioned them.
Oh, I did.
And I was like, ooh, I hate
Fallout Boy.
Cannot stand fucking Fallout Boy, dude. I wish they'd fall out a goddamn window, boy.
Yeah, they're kind of a guilty pleasure of mine. I find them kind of annoying, but actually kind of can't help but like.
Fucking annoying.
They got a song. I don't like the way they name their songs and shit. But you said you love Panic at the Disco, and they do a similar thing. It both feels
That's not
like
what bothers me. I don't know how they name their songs. What do you
the
mean?
same way Panic at the Disco does, which is like fucking arty and esoteric for its own sake, sort of. Like Panic at the Disco is like, I write sins, not tragedies. There's
Hell yeah, that rules.
a perfect jogging. There's also jogging. There's like heavy climb, jogging, sprinting. A perfect jogging song on the bike is a Fall Out Boy song called "My Songs Know What You Did in the Dark." Right. So like
that makes me want to die.
But it's just I don't see how that's any different. How is that?
One sounds mysterious and interesting, and the other one sounds incelly and horrible. Like one is better poetry. I write sins, not tragedy is way better poetry than my songs know what you did in the dark.
Yeah, but you just have to hear it though.
Maybe, but without hearing it, I stand by what I just said. That if you just took someone who never heard of either of them, but they were like a poetry major, they would agree with me that I write sins, not tragedy is less corny and more mysterious.
That's those two specific songs though. Both of those bands do that like across the board.
Yeah, it's but one is better at it than the other.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm annoyed by both of them. I like both of those bands, and I'm annoyed by how both of them title their songs and shit. I
talked about it on Gravy Baby. Have we talked about Panic at the Sit-Go on here?
I think so. Yeah, didn't we? I know me and you talked about it recently, and it was on like a Zoom, so I assume it was doing a podcast. But
right. Well, I'm a big mark for Panic at the Disco, and I hate Fall Out Boy. And I just like with like Chappell and Taylor, I'm not in the genre enough to be able to tell you why.
Well, hasn't Chappell been taking some heat lately for being fucking like real out of touch and
well, she's failed some like
about politics
tests. She's failed some liberal purity tests, and she doesn't seem to give a fuck about it.
Right. It's her being like what she's.
Well, the first one was
I'm pop stars don't have time to keep up with politics or something like that.
Well, the first one was. So here's the order that it went in. The first one was I'm not going to go support the Democratic Party while they're bombing children.
Yeah.
Well, that backlash led to, and then her fame blew up too. So there's two things you got to understand are going on at the same time. She gets backlash from that, and then her fame explodes. And then she starts saying, I don't understand people who are mad at me about that. Like, why the fuck are you going to a pop star for their politics? I don't even know about politics. Almost like all right, fine, fuck you guys, like whatever. And I think that's understandable, but yeah, a lot of people were like, you don't have the luxury of saying you don't know about politics.
Sure.
Contextually, what her point was, you don't need to come to me for that.
But that's like, to me, that's kind of an equivalent type of thing of what just happened with Saquon Barkley. I mean, look, what he did was very different than what you just said she did. But like,
right.
Saquon Barkley went to the White House, but he didn't just go to the White House, but he played golf with President Trump. And when people got mad about that, he had a very similar type of response where he was like, why do you even have to bring politics into this? He was like, maybe I played golf with the president. Maybe I just respect the office. All these people bringing politics into this need to get, it's like bringing politics into fucking you playing golf with the president. Like, of course people are going to do that.
Right.
But he seemed like, I don't understand where this is coming from. And it's like, yes, you do. And I feel it's the same type of thing with her. I sort of feel like.
I don't agree with that. I think that's a false equivalency because if she had played music for President Trump, I would be like, yeah, that's literally the same thing. She got backlash from some people on the left because she was too far left. And then she said, you know what? You're right. I don't know enough about politics. You do your own thing. Because that was what the people were saying to her. It's like, you don't understand. You fucked us over here. You telling people that that the Democratic Party sucks is going to lead to Trump. So she was like, all right, you're right. I don't know. And I think I'm not going to say fair, but that's not the same as playing golf with Trump.
No, it's definitely not. You're right. I mean,
it's like, it's bitchy. It's like kind of childish. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I also acknowledge it's also a response to how famous she's gotten. I have absolutely no doubt about that. It's like she got a different PR person.
Right. And also the only reason I know any of this, I'm aware of one song of hers, the gay bar one or whatever. And then the only reason I know any of this is because it pops up on Reddit, and Reddit, it kind of course, has had a bit of a hate boner for her, I think. But there was a thing on Reddit too where it's like it was on Instagram where a nail artist, a makeup or nail artist or something,
I saw that,
accused her of fucking her over, and then somebody on Chappell's team responded, and they were they really mishandled it and were hugely bitchy about it, and that didn't hit for people either. And so that just seems like she's, I don't know,
a lot
bumbled lately, or just is a lot. Yeah, right. But I mean, it's pop star divas. I mean,
well, I don't think she had a PR person at first because she was like going on fucking those late night shows, just chewing gum and shit.
Right.
And then, yeah, listen, I'm not defending the PR perspective. She's completely bumbled numerous things, and that I won't defend at all. I'm saying that I don't think it was equivalent to the Saquon Barkley thing. I'm not even really trying to defend her. I'm saying that it's that being like, all right, I did my politics and you guys all attack me. You know what? Don't fucking come to the pop star for your politics is a lot more defensible in general than why are you making it political when I'm playing golf with the president?
Yeah, the nail artist thing specifically leads to a larger question, I think, about like, so what it was specifically that started it all was someone on Chappell's team reached out to this nail artist and said Chappell wants to wear some of your nails, and they just offered her exposure, right? But also gave her 2 days notice. And these are like, I don't know shit about nails, but these are like bespoke artsy nails. You know what I mean? It's not,
it's art.
Right. So it like takes a while. So it was 40, she had 48 hours notice and they weren't going to pay her anything. And she was like, no, and then she posted, and then the lady was a bitch in response, and then she posted all that, and then it spiraled from there. But like,
well, I won't defend that.
Everybody knows that like rich and famous people, like, I don't know, they just get everything for free, even though, do you know what I mean? Like, but I don't know. I guess so many brands and stuff are willing to do that it's like, it's always gonna happen. But
I won't defend that at all. Not even like in a general sense. Short not done that, and she should have tuned up and/or fired the lady who did it.
Right. But the whole like exposure thing, I do think it can be contextual, don't you? Meaning, like in the world of what we do,
well, especially
almost no podcasts pay anything. We all go on them and do each other's, and it's all just exposure. And the podcasts make money,
But I almost feel like I'm not doing my job really when I go on your podcast. You're not asking me to do what my job is for free.
I don't know. You don't think so? I think so.
Well, I mean, that might be like a philosophical difference between you and me about like what it is we do. I feel like the only reason I started podcasting was to promote myself.
Right. Yeah, which is part of your job.
Right, but promoting myself is a thing that I usually have to pay to get someone else to help me do. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas if you're asking me to do stand-up for you and you say exposure, I'm like, no, that is what my craft is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but at the same time, sometimes people ask me to do my show. They're like, hey, I see you're in town. Can I hop on and do a set? Sure, but there's no way I'm giving you money if you ask me to do the show. Unless it's a situation where I'm like, oh, I actually don't have an opener yet. Then, of course, now you're filling a very different role. So I just feel like it is contextual, I guess is what I was saying. Like, Guest spots, I don't pay people. If they're featuring for me, I absolutely do. In terms of the podcast world, I've actually been thinking lately that I need to shift my perspective, that it's a big problem for me in general, but like this to me feels like a thing I have to do to promote myself. And almost no one gets paid to market themselves.
Yeah. But also, like, I mean, even big TV shows, there's like an honorarium or whatever they call it, but it's nominal. And it's like, what's the word there's a word like like it's not rule of thumb, but like a general practice. There's a word for that. Like it generally accepted that
Standards and practices?
There's a fucking word that I'm blanking on right now, but it basically means like it's kind of an
Slavery?
unwritten rule, I guess, that like generally speaking, at least that's how it was described to me. The actual celebrities go on these TV shows and stuff, they typically donate that honorarium or whatever to like, you know, a charity. Like I remember when I went on Bill
What's
Maher,
the honorarium?
it's like I don't know why they call it that. I'm saying they basically don't pay.
Oh, like when you do an appearance on Bill
When
Maher.
I went on Bill Maher, I got an honorarium that I think was like $900 or maybe even less or something like that. And they were like, you know, you can give it, we can write you a check, we can direct deposit to you, or what a lot of people do is they donate. And so I remember I donated mine to St. Jude's. I just picked St. Jude's. I was like, just do them. And so like,
that's making a shit ton of money. I think if Rogan calls you and you're not in Austin, he's going to at least offer to get you a hotel. Bill Maher is got HBO money. You know, like I just feel
they flew me first class and put me up in a hotel room, but they didn't.
I think it's contextual.
No, I agree. And I'm saying, I don't even know why I'm saying it's just, so I'm saying the whole exposure thing kind of depends. Cause I do think like a nail artist who's got like a small Instagram following, but this is like her thing, but she's certainly not a celebrity or nothing. If you are a fucking pop star, you know, then you shouldn't just pay them. You should pay them like more than they would normally get paid.
I was going to say, the thing about all this is the lesson always is that you could have given her $4,000.
Right.
And you would have come out of this a huge hero.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like it costs you so little. That's the advertising you're going to get, is that you're a stand-up guy or gal or they person.
Right. Yeah.
But I won't defend that. I'll defend the other thing, because when you put it contextually, like the timeline of her being like, fine, I don't do politics, that was like tongue in cheek. You know, that was like, I tried that and everyone was, you know, gay. Her words, not mine. Not really. She never said that.
Yeah. Is she gay? If she's like,
that's very interesting too. She was bi,
right?
And then she said, "I think I realized I just like had a hard time accepting that I'm a lesbian."
Oh no, she's fully gay. Okay.
Yeah. But then a lot of people don't believe it because they're like, "Well, your fans loved that." And I saw a debate on Reddit. I'm really into Chappell Roan, as it turns out. She has a song that is about a woman saying to another woman, it's called Good Luck, Babe. And it's literally like, good luck with your man. Good luck pretending that you don't have this inside you. Good luck pretending you're not a lesbian.
Right.
Okay. Or good luck pretending you're not a bisexual and leaving this behind for your whole life. So there was this huge debate on Reddit if this was about a bisexual woman or a lesbian woman. And is Chappell the person saying it or the person it's about? And then I was so curious because this debate got so heated on Reddit among the sapphics and the straights. I went to try and find out. And she said in an interview that it's both. That she started to write it about a bisexual woman who she was in love with. And then she realized it was actually about her and the way she used to be. So then she finished it about herself, who she says is a lesbian. Man, we're going deep on the Chappell Roan.
Yeah, Chappell Roan talk.
I saw her at Bonnaroo by myself for a variety of reasons and was fucking blown away. And then I kind of got obsessed with her for about 2 months.
Is sapphic just mean lesbian, or is there?
I'm not entirely sure what it means, but I know that Chris Fleming, who is, every once in a while we shout out a stand-up comic. Chris Fleming's a relatively new stand-up comic on the algorithm scene. He's been doing it forever. and it's what he calls lesbians. He's a very twinkish, waifish man. He's allowed to call lesbians whatever he wants. He's gay.
Gotcha.
He's been calling them sapphics, and it's been killing me.
So, according to Google's dictionary.com or whatever, sapphic means relating to sexual attraction or activity between women. And then a Instagram infographic, sapphic versus lesbian. Sapphic is an umbrella term meant to encompass lesbian, bisexual, and pansexual women, femmes, masks, and non-binary folk. It's meant to be a unifying term between women and non-men who love other women and non-men, but maybe not exclusively. Lesbian is a term for women and non-men who are attracted to exclusively women and non-men. This term originated from the word lesbos, which is the birthplace of the poet Sappho. So it's all related.
Chappell Roan and sapphics. I'm glad that I am our resident queer. I mean, I have been the whole time, but I'm glad that it's actually starting to come to fruition this late in the game.
Mm-hmm. What about Paramore? They kind of bridge the gap between pop punk and
Paramore, dude.
Female pop stars.
What's her name? Haley
Williams.
I fucking love her. Unreal.
So, speaking of Peloton, they're like one of the biggest pop punk bands of all time, and I
didn't realize they were considered punk. I knew they were pop something.
But I never really fucked with them because I think they started to hit right after I was getting out of that.
Also, woman.
And the front woman that probably was part of it since they came out when I was 22 or whatever, 24. But like, because of Peloton, they played a song on a ride I was on of theirs called Still Into You. And I got obsessed with that fucking song, played it over and over again for days. And it led me to a bunch of their other songs that I like a lot. And it didn't make me remember. I'd always known this. It was always just like a little fun fact, even though I didn't like them or listen to them. But the very first concert I ever went to was Buzz Fest, which was a one-day rock festival at Stardome in Nashville, put on by 101.1 The Buzz, right? And fucking the headliner was Velvet Revolver, and undercar was like Saliva. Lit was there. That was fire. Yeah. It was awesome. But they had a little side stage, like festivals often do, like a little cafe stage, tiny stage. And we got there, we were just wandering by it. And there was this rock band playing. Obviously, everyone's going to know where this is going since how it started. Rock band playing with a woman leading them or whatever. And it was Paramore on a tiny, because they're from Franklin. They're from Nashville. Yeah. And this was Nashville in 2004, like the year they formed. And even though I didn't appreciate it at all or anything, but I technically saw Paramore on a tiny.
You could have totally been like, dude, I stopped and I was like, man, they're really going to be something right here.
Now we were just like, huh?
Look at her.
How about that,
man? You think she's old enough for me to talk about how hot her tits are?
Yeah, but yeah, that did happen. Well, anyway, yeah, no. So I've been digging Paramore, and I texted you this also. Doechii too, very different. I know that's not even a Peloton thing. That's a
Doechii just rules.
You guys talked about him on the podcast, and so I looked her up and. But they are kind of related because the two songs overlapped. I was basically just playing Paramore Still Into You and Doechii's What It Is back to back for like 3 days straight.
Doechii is just like undeniably good, and the timing is right.
Right.
I
think Doechii's like a throwback to me. Like she's like she actually raps.
Oh yeah, like that's back. I've been trying to tell you that's back. You got to listen to Jid, man. Listen to JID.
Because for so long, so many of the popular rappers, that mumble rap bullshit. I just hate that stuff.
I got to go. But they're bad.
No, I mean, yeah, well, it's time to go anyway. So y'all come see me in Seattle this weekend and then Vegas next weekend. If you're in the godless desert, come see me. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not overly optimistic about those shows, but we'll see how they go. I can
listen to Gravy, baby.
Lose a lot of money. TreyCrowder.com, by the way, is where that's at. No,
TreyCrowder.com.
TreyCrowder.com.
Get them tickets. Listen to Gravy, baby. I'm not on the road for a while. I will be announcing some shows soon. I'm going to announce Denver and Knoxville, a few of them. But anyway, I'll see you guys out there.
All right. Watch Trash Daddy too. You can find the link on TreyCrowder.com. All right, that's it. Thank you all for listening to the WellRED Show. We'd love to stick around longer, but we got to go. Tune in next week if you got nothing to do. Thank you. God bless you. Good night and skew. Fart.